right now we're trying to fish for some walleye on the edge of weed lines, but it's not quite working out. They're not in here right now, but we've actually found a little white bass, striper, a little action with those on the crankbaits. And all I have here is just a regular DT6, just in a little blue color. I mean, that's what you get a lot of smallies on, but we're hooking up these stripers. And all we're doing, if on our sonar, we're in about 5 feet of water, and the weeds come up to about 6, and it's a DT6, so you can just feel it bouncing through the weeds. And they're hitting it. I mean, they're literally engulfing the bait. What I'm gonna do is show you actually. Grab it out. Grab it. Nope, definitely can't grab it. A lot of water in there. But I mean, what we've been doing is literally, we'll show you, just casting it out there. We're right on the edge of the weed line. Because if we get 5 more feet closer to shore, we're gonna be in like 2 feet of water, you know, well, with weeds. All I'm doing is just casting it out there, straight reel, and then, you know, catch a fish, just like that. Feels really good. You can see that pole just freaking, you can see the pole, I mean, it's bent over pretty good. These fish fight, look at that. You know, I put pretty good force in them. Not letting me take him anywhere, but there we go. I mean, hooked him in the side of the face. Now, if we were in a professional walleye tournament, actually, see if I did get a hook in the mouth. Nope. See, if we were in a professional walleye tournament, there's no hook in the mouth. Okay? So what that means, he came up to it, saw the bait swimming through the water, and he sideswiped it. He T-boned it, and he hooked himself. In a professional walleye tournament or something like that, it wouldn't count if you were trolling, because they technically have to have a hook in the mouth. You know, you can't snag a fish. And I mean, we're using crankbaits, so I mean, you can reel it in real quick and potentially snag one. This guy's bending the pole. See the tip of the pole? There he's surfacing. There we go. We'll flip him in. Not hooked very well, but we'll get him. Land him right on the deck. And there we go again, one more fish. You can see only got 2 little hooks in him. That's kind of if I was fishing a bass tournament and I only seen that he was hooked with maybe 1 or 2, the net would have came out, but it's alright. These fish are whatever. So I mean, there you go. There's one more. We'll measure it for you. You can look over here on the tape measure. You know, your average 13, 14 inch fish there. You know, 14. I mean, those are what you do. You fillet these, and all you do is you get the bag strap on them. You know, you don't get any of the rib meat. The rib meat's not good on these, but you can get the bag strap, and people will fill up buckets with these in the winter. So catching them on crankbaits sure is fun. You know, it beats a slow day of bass fishing or a slow day of walleye fishing. I'll show you. You may ask, well, here's my arsenal of crankbaits. Yeah, I've got a full tackle box full of crankbaits. Now, when you're looking at a Cabela's or a Gander Mullen, you're like, holy cow, which crankbait do I use? Because I mean, there's thousands of different crankbaits, and you're like, well, how do you guys know what one you're using? Well, if you come up here once, Donnie, I'll show you. On my, I don't know how well you can see it. Go pages, full map. Oh, actually pages. I'm gonna go to just straight up sonar. Okay, I'm gonna show you the full sonar map. Okay, this is the bottom of the lake. Right here is 10 feet. Goes up 9, 8, right about 8. That's about 8 feet deep. Right there, that blue, that's weeds. And all those little scraggly things, those are weeds coming up too. You can see all the junk up there, that's floating weeds. So you can see about 5 feet here, about a foot down is 6 foot. So you're gonna be right over top of those weeds. So what I'm using is a DT6. And that's how I determine which one to use. Right here I've got DT4s. They say on the bill how far down they deep. See DT4, so it dives down 4 feet. So if that weed edge came up to 4 feet, that's what we'd be using. I mean, I have them all the way down to DT16s, DT14s, any one you want. And that's how you decide. It's how deep you are, and where the weed edges is what one you're using. So right now, basically, this is the exact bait I'm using. It's a Kevin Van Dam, made lure, and the size of the bill actually can help you determine how deep it will dive. I'll show you here. Here's a DT4. See how small that bill is? Here's I'll show you this one. It's a DT14. exact same color, everything. See how much bigger that bill is? What happens is when you're cranking it through the water, the bigger bill allows it to dive deeper, and that's how you get the depth. When they're going through the water, you just get a little wiggle from them, and the fish hit a reaction bite. So now when you're walking through Cabela's or Gander Mountain and you don't know which ones to buy because there's 1,000 on the aisle, you can just say, well, how deep is the lake I'm fishing? Usually 10 feet, 6 feet, whatever, and get a couple of that size. So I've got a couple for every size. Because after this, we might go out smallie fishing on some of the reefs, and then we'll be in about 10 feet of water. What we're gonna need to use is, here's my whole row of DT10s. I'm just gonna pick up, whatever colors I want and use DT10s. And you're like, hey, what colors? Well, the crawdad, that orange color is gonna be more for your fall, and then you've got your, your blues, those are good for smallies, purples, oranges, greens, any kind. I mean, you just want a variety of different colors, try them out and see what the fish like that day. I mean, this one's a bluegill. It's colored as a bluegill. Now that's, when you catch a lot of bass and they're spitting a bluegill or whatever, that's what they're eating. That's what maybe we'll throw out. A popular color for bass is fire tiger. I mean, that's a very, very popular crankbait color. And then we even have one right here, perch. Winnebago is just filled with little perch. So we're throwing, it only dives about 5 feet and throwing it right up in the shallows, and hopefully you're gonna catch some walleyes with it, but haven't got any yet. So that's a little short segment on crankbaits, which ones to use, how to use them, and that's about all you'll need to know, really. Just get on the water and start trying. So, let's see if I can dog it a little bit. This actually looks like a decent one. Holy cow, that's definitely a decent one. There's people over there. You can look over my shoulder, you see the people in the boat. They're swinging in on the floor, so we don't see it. Fishing a giant lake like Winnebago, you would think that people wouldn't try to get on your spot, but they do. The second they start seeing you catch fish, those people will be over here and 2 feet away from where we are. So I'm gonna hook this one in real sneakily, get in the live well. There you go. And look at the size, I'll measure it again. 15 inch. Here's another good one. Got done. This day's worth of fishing. I don't know, it's pretty close to dark. You can see the sun's going down. We got the lights turned on. After a certain time you have to have your lights on by law. Our live wells are definitely plump full. I'm just flipping them on now to actually add a little bit more water. You can hear that running now. Got 3 walleye, probably close to 20 white bass, so it's a pretty good day altogether. Not complaining. At 8:05.